You're watching the Run For It YouTube channel. I'm Finlay, and this episode is on the new Nike Vomero Premium running shoes. We'll cover the tech in detail, but we highly recommend checking out the Nike Newsroom article, which you'll find the link for in our description, as that goes into a lot of detail about the design process that went into the Vomero Premium running shoes. We'll cover how they feel to run in, what they're best suited to, and why I think these are the best running shoes I've ever worn. Hope you enjoy. Starting with the midsole, let's get straight into the stack height because it is incredibly high. The men's have a 55mm heel and 45mm forefoot. The women's are ever so slightly lower. The women's heel sits at just over 52mm and the forefoot sits at just over 42mm, so a 10mm drop. And that means that the Vomero Premium offers more cushioning than any other Nike model that has ever been made, and a truly max cushioned experience that's designed to help make easy miles and recovery runs as least stressful as possible. And of course, the midsole features Nike's most premium technologies. There's 2 layers of ultra cushioned ZoomX foam with an air zoom unit in the heel and in the forefoot. And the goal of this setup is designed to create an ultra plush underfoot experience that's also coupled with lots of energy return. Now, given how high the stack is, the midsole does have some additional features to help improve the inherent stability of the cushioning. So first of all, if you look at the base of the shoe, you can see it is very broad, and particularly if we compare it against the Pegasus Premium, which also has quite a high stack height. If you look at the base nets there, particularly in the midfoot area, you can see just how much wider the Vomero Premium running shoes are. Next, there is also a curve from heel to toe, and it's fair to say that a rocker geometry can help improve the stability of the midsole because transitioning the foot forward can help reduce some instability and make the ride feel more stable. Now, what you won't necessarily see on many tech descriptions is information about this structure around the heel counter here. Hopefully you can see that section there. Now, this is a firmer heel clip. The Vomero 18 doesn't have this, the Vomero Plus doesn't have this, so this is unique to the Vomero Premium, and there is no doubt that this structure helps improve the inherent stability of the midsole. As you probably just saw, there is quite a lot of coverage on the bottom of the midsole and the outsole there, so yes, that adds some weight of course, but importantly it helps increase the durability of the shoes, and this waffle traction does help improve your grip in a range of surfaces and conditions. Now when it comes to the upper, it's a relatively simple, lightweight, breathable engineered mesh with a nice amount of padding on the tongue. The tongue is also integrated into the upper, so helps improve that midfoot lockdown, and the heel counter has a nice amount of padding on it. Importantly, there is quite a stiff heel counter there to help improve that support at the back of the shoe as well. And I think it's right to say that Nike have maybe played it quite safe with the upper design, but that is no bad thing. If anything, it is a good trait because this should work and fit a lot of runners' foot shapes. It offers a nice accommodating fit in the toe box, plenty space, plenty volume there, really good lockdown in the midfoot, and the ankle area, really importantly, offers great lockdown. You shouldn't be getting any heel slip in that, and there's just the right amount of padding to give you the comfort that you would hope from a shoe like this without it feeling too much that your ankle's then moving around in the shoe. So overall, it's really hard to find any faults with the upper design, and we would definitely recommend choosing your normal running shoe size in the Vomero Premium. So the Vomero Premium are designed to meet the needs of elite marathon runners who typically use a combination of shoes. The Vomero Premium are designed to disrupt that norm and offer marathon runners one single super trainer that they can use to run more miles, recover faster, all so that they can race better when it comes to events. Well, what does that mean for the everyday runner, and how can you incorporate these into your training? The next section covers how they feel to run in and how we think they can serve you in your training. Now, I'm lucky enough where I get to test a lot of different running shoes, and what I can say is that nothing I've ever run in comes close to feeling as cushioned as these do. It's simply insane. The level of underfoot cushioning is just immense, but alongside that it also offers very, very good energy return, and the high stack means that the level of protection from the heel all the way to the forefoot is just unrivaled from anything else I've ever run in. And the question on a lot of people's minds is, how stable does this high stack midsole feel underfoot? Well, obviously they're never going to be the most stable feeling running shoes that you'll use, but I am astonished at how stable they feel underfoot. Yes, if you're running on uneven pavements and maybe cobbles, you're going to have to be careful, but you could say the same for any shoe. I think a lot of the stability is stemming from the wide base nets, and then also that heel clip. Your feet just feel very planted inside the shoe, and I've run in a lot of lower profile shoes which don't feel anything like as stable as the Vomero Premium. So it's pretty amazing what Nike has managed to achieve here. And I've also been doing a lot of testing with these in quite busy city centres, so in Edinburgh, so running on pavements with a lot of people where you're having to sidestep, move around them, sometimes jump on and off the curb, which always places a bit of a challenge on your ankles, and not had any problems whatsoever. So yes, if you've got very unstable ankles or you need quite a lot of structure and support, then maybe these are not going to be the best shoes for you because there is so much cushioning under your feet. But I think a lot of people will be surprised at just how many different types of feet the Vomero Premium work for. Just coming back to me saying that I think these are the best running shoes that I've ever worn, that's not me saying that these are going to be the best running shoes that you ever wear. Everybody's different, but why I made that statement is it's a very bold thing to say, but that's the confidence in how good these shoes feel to run in. I've just never run in a pair of shoes which has made the everyday miles feel so good. The cushioning doesn't just feel good on the slow miles and the recovery runs. When you're running at a steady pace and you're actually trying to move along at a good effort, the cushioning offers lots of energy return and propulsion that it really does make it feel much easier to maintain that pace, and then that's having, or what feels like, your legs aren't doing quite as much work. And obviously then on those recovery runs, those easy miles, particularly when your legs are really sore or very tight, that's where the cushioning just makes such a difference. Naturally, the concern is you could get too reliant on the cushioning, and it might not necessarily be the best idea to use the Vomero Premium for all of your aerobic runs. It might be the case that you're best saving them for when you really need them. So with that in mind, we'll go on to talk about how we suggest integrating the Vomero Premium into your running shoe rotation. So firstly, if you're doing 1 or 2 speed focused training sessions each week and you then have a specific recovery day planned afterwards, an easy run, because you know that your muscles are going to feel quite sore and tired, that's where the Vomero Premium would be a perfect option on those runs. On the other days, you then might want to use an option which doesn't offer quite as much help. Now, next, it's fair to say that one of the best ways to build your fitness is by building your volume, particularly doing more aerobic miles. But a lot of people find that challenging. They find increasing the miles leads to more niggles. They might be carrying then more muscle soreness, so they're going into those key workouts, those harder sessions, in more fatigued state, so they're maybe not then having as good a session, and then actually finding that they're not progressing as well even though they're adding more mileage. And yes, for some people they might be better bringing that mileage down, but if you're marathon training and you're really trying to move the fitness needle forward, then that's where these could be the perfect tool for you, because it's fair to say that these could help you do more aerobic miles, but then you're not as sore after that training, so you can keep banking them and going into those key sessions without the same level of fatigue. And building on that point, that means that the Vomero Premium are just such a good tool for runners who are doing high volume training weeks. Everybody who is doing a lot of miles each week, particularly marathon runners, know how demanding that load is on their body, especially when you're doing those long, hard marathon pace workouts, which just can leave your legs feeling absolutely broken and very sore. But you can't take 1 to 2 days off, or you could, but doing those aerobic miles that follow those hard, long workouts are absolutely essential for getting you to race day in the best place possible. And that's where this is just such a good option to have in your shoe rotation, because it can genuinely make such a difference on those days and help you do that in a much more comfortable way, potentially improving your recovery time, so you then go back into those long, hard, intense sessions in a better position, and that can just have a really positive effect on your overall training volume. And this means you're probably going to end up using the Vomero Premium for different proportions of your training depending where you are in your training cycle. So if you're deep into a marathon build and you're in a phase where your legs feel like they're constantly sore and tired, you might end up using these on a very regular basis, because you might be using them for all of your easy runs and then quite a lot of steady runs too. Whereas if you're doing more of a speed focus block, where you're doing 1 or 2 hard sessions a week, but they're maybe a bit shorter in duration and your legs feel a little bit fresher, you might just want to use these once or twice a week on the days when your legs maybe feel like they need a bit of extra help to recover, and then opt for a slightly lower profile midsole on the other days when your legs don't need this much help. Now, while some runners might want to use the Vomero Premium for all of the running, as we mentioned earlier, might not necessarily be the best idea. And ultimately, if you use these for all your runs, that means that when you do really need the benefit from this level of cushioning and help, you might not notice quite as much help from the cushioning. And that's where, if you are looking for one shoe that will cover all your bases, that's where the Vomero Plus could be a better option for you. It's still offering incredible cushioning, protection and energy return, but you have to do a little bit more work in shoes. And it's fair to say that the Vomero Plus offer a little bit more of a dynamic ride, so they do feel better across a broader range of paces. And of course, you could definitely rotate between the Vomero Premium and the Vomero Plus. That would be one of the best shoe rotations that you could get, because these are perfect for when your legs are feeling pretty fresh but you still want amazing performance. And then you could opt for the Vomero Premium on the days when you, as we've been discussing, really want that extra help. So in conclusion, there's no doubt about it, Nike has delivered one of the best running shoes that has ever been made. Whether or not these are the best running shoes for you is a different story, because as we talked about, we are all different. But to take the concept of trying to create a running shoe which mirrors some of the benefits of running on an anti-gravity treadmill, and then managing to make a shoe which offers as much help as these do, is nothing short of exceptional. And it's fair to say that the Vomero Premium have set a completely new standard when it comes to maximum cushioning. And that brings me to the end of this review. I know that was a long one, but really wanted to get into all the detail about the Vomero Premium. If you do have any more questions about these shoes, then please do comment on the episode and we will get back to you as soon as we can. We hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. See you soon.